Buy-to-let investing in the UK doesn't work anymore. Apparently, wealthy Brits are snubbing UK property investments, looking for alternatives overseas. This is according to a new interview with Ian Rand, who's the chief executive of Monument Bank, who specializes in working with high net worth individuals, who said that a lot of his clients were no longer looking at standard buy-to-let investments where they could invest in a normal tracker fund in the stock market and get a better return. Now, this is a very interesting comparison I'm going to talk about later in this video. People often look at property compared to investing in the stock market. And it's something I do in my book, Property Magic, but I want to do it here right now because there's a big mistake people make when comparing the two markets. Let's assume you bought £100,000 of shares in a tracker fund in the stock market. Obviously, the stock market goes up and down, as does property, but generally the stock markets perform at about a 12% return per annum. If you look back historically over the property records, it's a lower return of about 7%. Now, obviously, returns in property go up, they go down as well. It's a cyclical market, just as is the stock market. However, a very important distinction people don't really understand is if you had £100,000 to invest in property, you wouldn't be buying just £100,000 of property. You'd be buying more like £400,000 worth of property, using £100,000 as a deposit and £300,000 as a buy-to-let mortgage. Now, obviously, when you borrow money in a mortgage, there's interest you have to pay to the bank every single month. However, unlike your own home, where you have to pay the interest, with an investment property, the idea is that the tenant living in the property covers the cost of the interest, the other costs, and still makes you a bit of a profit as well. So if you invest your £100,000 in the stock market and experience a 12% growth, you might be pretty happy with that investment. If you then get a 7% or even a 5% growth over the long term on your property, but actually it's a £400,000 investment, you're actually getting a much better cash on cash return from property. Because although you might be getting a slower growth rate, you're getting it over a large amount of money thanks to the benefit of gearing. And gearing really is one of the fundamental concepts that you need to get your head around if you want to be a successful property investor. In his great book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, Robert Kiyosaki, he explains the difference between good debt and bad debt. Good debt being debt where you buy an asset that's going up in value and someone else can cover the cost of that borrowing, which obviously is investing in property. Now, interesting, Mr. Rand in his statement saying that the idea about buying a property where you can get income and you get some good capital growth over 5 years no longer works. Well, I would disagree with that. And I'd say the problem with that statement is if you're looking for a return from property over 5 years, 5 years just isn't long enough. A lot can happen in 5 years. The market can stagnate, it can go down, come up, etc. Really, if you're investing in property, you should see it as a long-term investment. Ideally 10, if not 20 years. If I look at the properties I've bought when I've been investing in property over my last 30 years, if you told me 10, 20, 30 years ago how much those properties would be worth now, I just wouldn't believe you. That would seem so incredibly expensive compared to the prices at the time. But that's what happens when you have a limited supply of accommodation and an increasing population. Over the long term, rents and values will continue to go up. Now, at the moment, we're seeing property prices dip down. In London, there's definitely a dip in prices. And last month, in March 2026, the Halifax, who's the biggest lender in the UK, announced that they believe that prices on average dropped 0.5%. That's following 2 months of growth in early 2026. So obviously prices go up and they come down. So for someone who likes property, but they're wondering, is the UK really the best place to invest? What are the alternatives? Well, there are places all around the world who will happily take your money as an investment property or even as a second home. And I think there's a very big difference in buying somewhere for somewhere to use your family as a second home, maybe a retirement home. That's very different from buying somewhere that could actually be an investment you're going to rent out to people. And I think what often happens, a mistake people make, living in the UK, you look at some of the overseas, maybe a less developed country, think, wow, the property's really cheap there. And it seems cheap compared to the UK, but you've got to say, is it cheap based on the standard of living in that country? And so if it's expensive for the country, you've got to think, well, am I paying over the odds, which often we are for brand new developments? Who's actually going to live there? Can they afford to pay the rent? And is it a sustainable market? The thing I love about investing in the UK is that we're investing somewhere we know. There's lots of due diligence and research we can do before we make an investment. I was going to say it's a stable political environment, but maybe it's not so stable right now. It's a fairly stable currency. We understand English law. We understand the language. Everything's stacked in your favor. The moment you go and invest overseas, you might have a different language, a different legal system, a different rights and land ownership, different currency, different taxation. So there's so much more to think about when investing overseas. And yet, people often go and invest on a whim. They go on a holiday, think, oh, wouldn't it be nice to have a holiday here? They get swooped up by the romance, invest in something which may or may not be such a good investment. I think you have to be very, very careful. And my firm favorite for investing is here in the UK, because if you know what you're doing, you can get a very good return on investment. You might not use the standard buy-to-let strategy. I agree, maybe that doesn't really work so well in most parts of the country, but there are more advanced strategies you can use, such as HMOs and service accommodation, which when done correctly can still be very, very profitable. Now, there's no doubt in my mind, is it as good being a landlord now or in the new Renters' Rights Act world as it was 5, 10, 20 years ago? No, of course it isn't. But the world changes. We need to keep up to date with what's going on. And I believe actually regulation to a certain extent is good because it's improving standards for everyone. And we as landlords, we should look after our properties and we should look after our tenants. Now, unfortunately, there's a very small number of bad tenants who don't look after properties and will try and pursue those ignorant landlords who don't know what they're doing or make simple mistakes with rent repayment orders. So yes, those are all risks that we could face as landlords. However, I believe when done correctly, you should be absolutely fine being a landlord in 2026 and beyond. Now, we have to bring affordability into account here as well. A lot of people are struggling with the incredible cost of living increases we have in the UK. Obviously, with the war in Iran, the impact that's going to have on energy prices and in fact the whole supply chain, we are going to see inflation which will trickle into the UK economy and may cause interest rates to be put up because the Bank of England uses interest rates as a macroeconomic tool to control inflation. But inflation is actually good for property investors because it means rents and values go up, and inflation erodes the debt that we use in the first place to actually buy the properties. So I think Mr. Rand's statement about it doesn't really work is not really a fair statement given he's looking at a 5-year period. And I agree, in a 5-year period, you might have no growth or the value might come down. But property investing is not about investing for 5 years, it's investing for the long term. It's about creating generational wealth for generations to come. I think the comments by the CEO of Momentum Pack might apply to a very small group of people. And yes, I believe high net worth individuals are leaving the UK because of the tax, because of the politics of regulation, etc. And a lot of them are taking their money with them. But the statement about buy-to-let doesn't really work. I think there's an element of truth in there. Conventional vanilla buy-to-let isn't so good these days. However, if you look at slightly more advanced strategies such as houses of multiple occupation or serviced accommodation, the rental income from those is much higher, which means it's possible to make a healthy profit while providing good quality accommodation for your tenants. And that's what we should be doing as a landlord. We are providing a service. Hope you have lots of eager customers happy to buy that service because we're offering good value. And that's what a free market is all about. It's a real shame that the current government don't seem to want a free market, and I think they're going to cause themselves lots of problems in the future. So I'd like to know what you think. What do you think is the future of rental property? Come and comment below. Do you think rental property is dead? It no longer works as an investment strategy? Or do you think there'll always be demand for good accommodation for people who can afford to pay for it? Come and comment below. I'd love to hear your view. If you like this video, please like it. It helps the algorithm. Subscribe to the channel. We are now 30,000 subscribers, so thank you everyone for subscribing. Hit the bell icon to make sure you get notified anytime a new video comes out. Until next time, invest with knowledge, invest with skill.